Ufuk, Scott Wharton is listed, I think, as the only player not available. Can you give us an update on his status?
So we got a scan with Scotty. So he's got a grade 1 strain in his calf. So he'll probably be out for maybe next 3 or 4 weeks. Unfortunately for him and unfortunately for the group. But look, Lawsy come in against Brisbane and did a good job, and Finn come into the matchday squad and he got an opportunity to get on the park as well. So like, rely on the players that we have, and hopefully they can go out and do a job.
Was that something Scott did in the lead up to the Brisbane game? Were you over there when it happened?
No, we didn't. It happened the day we travelled, so we trained in the morning before we travelled, so it was good to happen then. It would have been worse if we travelled and we would have gone 1 player less in the squad, so it was good that it happened. Well, not a good thing that it happened, but it was a good thing that it happened before we travelled.
All right, so apart from him, everybody available, including your 2 suspended players, Kryev and Pennington, they come back in. On Bojadir Kryev, is it most likely he'll come into the 11 given his impact so far this season?
Yeah, look, I think BK's done well for us. Unfortunately, he got sent off the game against Sydney and missed last week's game, but I think he's a very influential and very important player for us, so I think he'll take his spot back.
And when you're making your selection decisions, not just around that, but around, I guess, various positions, you've been very consistent in some positions, others you've tinkered a little bit. What sort of informs your thinking around that sort of thing?
Yeah, obviously we have a game plan leading into the game against the opposition that we play. We look at the attributes that we have with our players, and then we look at the attributes that the opponents have as well, and it's how can we exploit them at those times. So we tinker a little bit with the starting point of the formation. The principles stay pretty much the same, but look, for us it's about how can we create an advantage against the opponent.
Back-to-back clean sheets, how satisfying is that for you as a coach?
Well, I think it helps you win games when you don't concede goals, so hopefully we continue that way. We're playing at home, we've got 2 games at home, so a very good opposition. I think 2 teams that are currently in good form and heading in the right direction, so I think it's going to be a tough game, a challenging game.
Was there anything in the last couple of games that helped you keep those clean sheets? Anything in particular that improved defensively?
Yeah, look, I think we work on it every week. We always work on 2 banks of 4. We always play a 10v8. I think that helped against Sydney when we went a player down and then 2 players down. So I think that defensive shape is very important to us. But it's also, I think the boys are a lot more focused and a little bit more desperate. And I think that Sydney game has played a massive part in that, in showing that desperation. That I think we are desperate going forward because we do score goals. But also I think we need to be desperate in our own box and not concede.
The club's only ever kept 3 consecutive clean sheets once in its history, which is an amazing stat, really. But you're up against a Mariners side who have been pretty free scoring. So do you have to step it up another notch if you're going to look for a 3rd straight clean sheet? Yeah,
definitely. We're playing against a good opposition. They've got some good players up front. They load the last line with 4 players, so they love to play attacking football. I think it's going to be 2 teams that like to play the same brand of football and like to score goals. So it's very important that if we can't score, that we stay in the game and not concede goals. And look, the game is 90-95 minutes. So like I said, we're playing at home. I think it'll be an entertaining game with the 2 teams, but it's very important that we need to pick up points.
I'm not sure that there's ever a must-win game at this time of the season, but this game feels pivotal almost. You're 4th, they're 2nd. You could close the gap on them to 2. You could really entrench yourself in the top 4. How important is this game?
Yeah, look, it's very important. I understand that it's very important. I always try to take the expectation off the players, and then they can just focus on their performance and what they need to do when they go out on the park. For us, it's very important. Look, even though we're sitting 4th, I think the team that's coming last is only 6 points behind us, so they're only two wins behind us. So it's very important. We haven't picked up as many points as we would have liked playing at home. So for us, it's a very important game to continue the work that we've done to stay where we are. One of the hardest things in football is to stay where you are. It's not easy to get to this point, but it's even harder to continue the same path.
But you have got to this point, I mean, with the last 2 weeks with the 1-0 wins, does this almost feel like a little bit of a pivotal moment as well, that you've started now to win matches, and in such a tight league that can jump you up the table pretty quick? Yeah,
look, we've always, I don't know why, we've always been slow starters in the competition, and then we get some wins, and then we get some good results where we might go 5-6 games unbeaten, or we get draws here and there. So it's very important for us to this part of the season where we're at, and we're playing against an opponent where if we do pick up 3 points, we end up 2 points behind them on the table, and look, at the end of the day, we look at how the other results go and then where we sit by the weekend.